time a JM call IMF no na Ghana car eswa ya yede ko IMF na eyesen ena time na Akufo Addo eko IMF no na e car eswa Ghana na eyesen e kire wo journalist na oto no so wo smart and I say deliberately no why you say you want to misinform the public because you cannot compare Akufo's IMF to JM's IMF to Akufo Addo's IMF. These are three different programs. I then a journalist na ho na oma akwa we kekan kwasi asem we na okachem say they are informing you. Anytime can say sa obi mu no oma hini kobna sante mu no. These are people are many politicians wait na dem. Oma be dada mo. Na we create bibia to mutim say they are intelligent, they are liars. Gideon Buaku analysis or no, nobody should consider this guy as an economist. He's a plain cut liar on Kanukre. But I don't blame Gideon Buaku. I blame Obino Tuono. Because it was the same platform and to force the court to say these people are going into an agreement that is going to force Ghanaians to increase electricity tariff every quarter. Obi knows, Obi Munyinanim, but you see, they sit with these people behind the scenes and they deliberately come out to lie to you. Can you tutum any lighter ya tutum any insua ya tutum no efri hin na bae NDC for no mutim odin e no matoto kaniam anase aban na ewo ho na na omagimi nti negotiations bi omko ya sebi omo tie mu na sebi MDC for ka kire mu amantie e na me abeduru ha na mo me hwe the facts na eka now and the MPP for sorry na omo social media omunya opportunity bia so betena TV so a all that they do is they want to throw dust. And another communicator, we onya kwara good morning Ghana, Papa Penyini. Oye teni. Debi ameka say MPP mu no. So amo pe obi use no. Adampena. Debi amo hwehwe teni baako no mo use no. Papa Penyini we betena TV so ende ebeke kan kwase asem. And all because na adwene ne say jandam eno mbetum de wini power biem. E de adada Ghana for. Enti sabio ono tani no ni refi no ho e na wabetena TV so say the idea is to lie to Ghanaians say ya to kaniam ya to nsuom into obetena TV so no obey association ontumi nka ice cream obetwa tro ama Ghana for bia to mutirim and they have set the records in straight now je be kire mo nsema o maka any atra omodi and why and the kania ya tutum no it's got nothing to do with NDC aban decision omo take na a purely MPP for decision omo take ye emra omo ne IMF focus share ye ye de etiko share IMF agreement no sa agreement na ye ne IMF ko sign ye no NPP aban led by Ofori Atta Gabi Ochredakon eye Bamti Akufo Addo Mahamudu Bawumia the head of the economic management team omo no omo ne IMF ko tena sika say this is what they want to do. If we say na oma say economy na kodu point bia na yentumi nya ho hwe na momye nkotie MPP communicator we kai say o yiri wo fie o ba sebio o webusianfo ye onkofo a omo friend say uncle at the end of the day no asem be free wa no aba no ene be kire say wadwini ko fie ana wadwini ko fie wabetena TV so to deliberately lie to Ghanaians. Now after this guy eje jandam ni wie no Gideon Buaku na oye the special aid to Bawumia. In fact, so what is about Bawumia kekan kwasi asema ono na advice Bawumia on economy. Na oye Bawumia senior advisor when it comes to economy no. And it's end Bawumia jina bedwom na okeka ensem na ototo papa so a nipa ono ne tena dem etu nefo. Se okwa kokeka sansem we no Gideon Buaku. Ono so ko tena parliament. Sorry. Eye obi show so e wa sempa Obi opeso ye MP oba beto ye twen no oje si ejimi oni Obi and negotiate we chire e discuss the omo peso mbeye and on the 12th or on the 13th omo ko tena asempa and ono so ko twa atro e wo asempa FM. Now first of all no yen starting free good morning Ghana entra papa we be twaye so wo hia na ka chen say oye trofo he has no credibility because we are going to prove to Ghanaians say the MPP as a political party no dia mu komunne no sunlight bill no water bill ya tumu no eye omo na de Ghana kon ekose eye de agreement ase enu ntina eye Ghana ende ya to kanie makodu bebi edu enu ntina ya to nsuo makodu bebi edu ye nka ne tra keke ye metietie ye me ya bodwe se mmoa ye me say nwan ma emekekem ye de adanse any evidence ye the facts ne betare to na Ghana for ehu no kre no. Yeah, first of all, let's listen to this Jandam. Where any atro number 1.
I've listened to Honorable and I've listened to some of his colleagues.
Okay.
You can see that there is a push of the blame elsewhere as to why they are increasing tariffs, which is not the appropriate way to start.
Is the PRC that announces tariffs?
No. But he says something which is very fundamental. We need to clarify that side before we can put on the building blocks.
Okay.
He's saying that the IMF agreement was what the previous government agreed that there will be quarterly increment in electricity tariffs or other tariffs. My colleagues have made it very clear that there is no such an agreement. In fact, before I came to air, I predicted this in my camp. I've clarified with a lot of people. They said there is no such an agreement. So the NDC should tell people that we have a decision to make, and this is the decision we have made. But you cannot push the decision to make such a choice on the fact that somebody have more or less made it to be binding on you. That is just irresponsible. And this is what we know. The campaign on research, so far, the research is not going very well, in my opinion. No. Having said that, so perhaps they should go ahead to publish where they think the agreement required them to make a quarterly adjustment. So having said that, let me put this in a proper perspective. Ghanaians need to be aware that it is a choice that they have made. Just 2 weeks ago, they celebrated with fanfare the fact that they have cancelled whatever institution. When it comes to, please, you have had your chance. Let me rest. You can then have the opportunity to rebut. Otherwise, we cannot flow.
Go ahead.
Yes. So you have made that decision to put burden on Ghanaians by increasing tariffs. Just make it very clear that we have given you this and we are taking this away from you. But do not push it that it was somebody who made you to take that decision. That is just an irresponsible way of doing governance. So you have made that decision and you are putting the burden on the Ghanaian.
Who made the decision to bring this guy on TV? Mr. Akwa, we want to make ice cream. Who actually made the decision to bring this guy to come and sit on TV to decide the decision on this thing? Who made the decision to bring this guy on TV? These are the communicators, MPP, Alflodi. These are the spillovers. They made a decision to bring this guy to come and state decisions to us. Now, let us correct something here. The guy said there was no decision. Now, Okasano, osi quarterly increment na abedawa 3 months biano ya too light ene eye insuum ene diakano. Or say there is no such agreement between, or there was no such agreement between the NPP government and the IMF. That is what Decision Man was saying. Decision was saying that, and he's in his own words, there is no such agreement. Or say he clarified from so many people. So after he clarified from all those people, he made a decision to come and sit on TV to tell us that the decision was that there was no such agreement. Say, Ghana and the IMF, Etnase and the MPP say every quarter, they were going to, or they will make a decision to increase tariffs. So decision has spoken. Now, after decision made this vague, unsubstantiated decision statement, Gideon Buakwa or the advisor to Bawumia, economic advisor, in fact, his personal advisor and aide to Bawumia, also call Asempa to go make a similar statement. Now, this is Gideon Buakwa.
Minia John Jinapo is quoted to have said, Omuji e-levy free wa Omobeto electricity mo to make up for the revenue shortfall. If that is true. Okay.
Increase in tariff, no, I say IMF is demanding that.
It's not true. It cannot be true. IMF program say nyen neba and ameboa.
Yes.
From 2009 to 2017, 8 years 9 days before the 7 years out of the 8 years, almost electricity tariff. The only affair NDC anto electricity boom 2009, almost 7 out of 8 years, almost electricity tariff.
Asempa FM.
President Akufo Addo ebe inherited IMF program under the NDC. Am no ND am I no also sign introduce IMF program in the 8 years or 2 different IMF programs. But 8 years now, President Akufo Addo abai wo ho ni nyina no. Out of the 8 years no, only 3 years and MPP abai to electricity boom Ghana. 2017 MPP anto electricity boom Ghana. 2018 yanto electricity boom Ghana. There was a reduction of 17.46%. 2019 and year 17.5%. 2020 Akufo Addo anto electricity boom Ghana. 2021 Akufo Addo anto electricity boom Ghana. 2022 Akufo Addo anto electricity boom Ghana. In fact 2020 crowd were share electricity. 2023 and what 2 electricity boom and last year or 6%. Na IMF program on 6%. It is a uba be munne. Na be katre yen say Akufo Addo wo ho na IMF programs mienu na wo 8 years ni nyina no. Mfie miensa pe and odi to electricity boom. Mfie num wan to electricity boom. Wo buy no. IMF program na Akufo Addo wo ho na wan to electricity boom no. Preko pe we say IMF was to electricity boom. Now one cannot crunch Ghana for.
All right, so let's stay here. Oh, say we more liars. Now, she be say journalists not in anymore. Say or you're truthful. Say be no kind of cry, and I say he's daft, but majority of people don't know. Gideon Bwako, asma no cannot say. IMF programs are abanyina besinde no. There was no programmer. A trese was here to light bill mu. Now the question here is, programs are Yanfan said the immediate program before Akufo Addo Modian Ebano. Na a JM NDC programmer yadi ehoko jimu. Satana NDC edge $900 million every IMF for. Today we are talking about $3 billion. Now the issue is the 2 IMF programs are the conditions the same. You cannot tell me say JM ana eye de Akufo ko IMF na in the component eye the agreement no eye increment in quarterly tariffs say enkanwa. It does not mean say woko IMF last year that agreement quarterly increment in our tariffs should not be in there in the first place. Sika JM mukoje wa IMF and no be ena mukoje no IMF. We are asking, a time na mo ko IMF program Akufo Addo time no. Time a JM ko IMF no na Ghana ka eswa ya ko IMF na sen. And a time na Akufo Addo ko IMF no na e ka eswa Ghana na sen. These are 2 separate programs that comes with 2 different agreements. So you cannot sit on radio and say Kufo ko IMF, Mahama ko IMF into the same program no should apply to IMF na Akufo Addo ene ba omia ko no e kire unim nyansa e kire wo journalist na oto no so wonya smart and I say deliberately no why you say you want to misinform the public because you cannot compare Kufuor's IMF to JM's IMF to Akufo Addo's IMF. These are 3 different programs which in them their agreement carries different components. Inti JM ko IMF akope 900 million no ene Akufo Addo eko IMF akope 3 billion no. You want the agreement because time na JM eko IMF no na eka eda Ghana so no it was not more than 54 billion. So then na JM agreement oko sign with IMF no it should be the same as agreement Akufo Addo na Ghana deka over 1.6 trillion ene Ghana eka eda ho. Why? How can it be the same? Why is he not looking at the respective IMF programs and the component in them? Because we are talking about specific IMF programs and the specific agreements they signed. You cannot tell me, say, Herbert Mensah be kotoko CEO. Ena obi foforo be kotoko CEO. Enti as far as Herbert Mensah be kotoko CEO no, on any rules and regulations and the way he signed his contract no, as far as obi so be kotoko CEO no, he needs to abide by the same contract rules. It doesn't work like that because every government, every administration comes with its own agreement and how to go by things. Inti aye na journalists na ho na oma akwa we keka nkwasi asem we na okachem say they are informing you. Anytime can say sa obi mu no oma hini kobna sante mu no. These are people how many politicians wait na them. Na oma be dada mo. Na oma create bibia tumutim say they are intelligent, they are liars. Gideon Boaku analysis or no, nobody should consider this guy as an economist. He's a plain cut liar. On kanu kre. Enuntina osheda ko nechi. Eko ka kire say President Akufo IMF. Any Mahama IMF and Akufo Addo beto the ending of Mahama IMF. The Mahama IMF agreement is totally different from Akufo Addo Bawumia any Ofori Atta agreement. That is how it is. Enuntina moko IMF. Akufo Addo ko IMF no 1.900 million. There was a reason why Akufo Addo was demanding for 3 billion. And there was a reason why JM was demanding for 900 million because what they went with, the omedi call and agreement no sign here. Let me let you understand something. Gideon Boaku any side decision guy no, the MPP is being disingenuous. Omugin say Jimmy, they want to lie to you. They are trying to hide the damage they have done. And the tariffs na yatutumna akosruna. They are trying to hide behind politics to make it look like say NDC na akofaba na NDC for Ghana for no. Let us take our time and see where the problem is coming from. The media, Obi Munyina, they know the fact, they know the truth. Obi we Obasoko running on the ticket of NPP. He knows what he's doing. Gideon Boaku, he has read the Mahama IMF agreement on him, every single thing in it. NPP for they know the agreement that John Mahama IMF koye and omunim the agreement Ofori Atta Kennedy Akufo Addo any Bawumia any IMF koye. So how can you just sit and tell your Ghanaians and say you are a lawmaker, you are an economist, and you just pick one statement at the end of the day or one definition to define every single IMF program? Actually, with Jimmy. Now, let me show you something. You see, time before Akufo Addo Ofori Atta Bawumia Ebeko IMF. In fact, the NDC started speaking before the NPP went to the IMF. Now, the NDC didn't catch say NPP for IMF in tema, our problems compounded yet too much. One shot. The concern of the NDC in opposition was that they will end up going to IMF. The conditionalities, the agreement will be so binding to the point they say it is going to worry Ghana for a long term. Now, the reason why I'm here the crossroad, program no, Atamil, John Mahama mo, and Atofosimo, they were having press conferences and programs and speaking on the economy. And they said the NPP were supposed to go to IMF earlier because na ekano air pilot. Now, the more you are getting in debt, the more it becomes difficult for you to sign a better agreement with the IMF. Intina Atofosimo were cautioning the NPP. They should put the pride aside. They should look at Ghanaians and see the plight they are putting them through, and they will be putting them through in the future. Into the NDC in opposition, we're telling MPP say, put your pride aside and quickly go to IMF because man calling Tema, a blow which is inevitably yours when earlier received can cause torrential hostilities. NDC for MPP for Bese, Chedia Bem on the Munjin and Tem, na one jin and Tema, one shall talk for my own sorry. But because the NPP were doing politics, because nobody say omo followers ne Jimmy, because nobody say omo ya dear mana Ghana for ya, because they thought to say they could rule, they could govern, they could be corrupt forever. No, they did not listen to the NDC. Now, before they went to the IMF, this is what happened. You realize, say 2023, the opposition, Edinkai Kasafa, IMF, Nadien, MPP for Enko. This is a news report. Listen.
The minority in parliament, in a reaction to the completion of the processes leading to the IMF's executive board approval of Ghana's request for a fund-supported program, says Ghanaians should brace themselves for more hardships under the program. It says, and I quote, let's brace ourselves for the full consequences of this IMF deal, which will without doubt bite hard on Ghanaians, especially the youth. This is not the counsel of despair, but the reality that will soon dawn on all of us, he stated. Dr. Kazel Atoforsen's statement was released moments after IMF and Ghana held a joint press conference in Washington to provide further details on the $3 billion three-year extended credit facility approved for Ghana. His state suffice it is to say that the Akufo-Addo-led government, as part of their proposal to the IMF to secure this deal, has agreed to increase utility tariffs every 3 months from last year. So far, since September 2022, electricity tariffs have gone up by a cumulative figure of 75.32%, which is 27% in September 2022, 29.96% in the last quarter of 2022, and 18.36% a few days ago. The opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, since 2021 had advocated an IMF bailout.
This is a report on year in 2023. The day now Ofori ekotena IMF for the first time. IMF for new year meeting and Atta force Mbobeka chere Ghana for say because MPP for chain upon the bashing and pushing them to go to IMF earlier no because they have wasted and delayed time no sa agreement omoko sign no utility bills every 3 months be abekosro. This is a prophecy not just a mere prophecy, a prophecy that was backed with facts from the NDC then, no more opposition. This is a news item. In fact, in 2022, no, electricity tariffs increment equal high as 72%. That was when na NDC for catch the Ofori Atta, but Miamoni MPP for say go to IMF quickly because why sa mukodua increment every 3 months be a into the moment they entered IMF no. The NDC came out quickly to say, this is what is going to happen. They are going to go into the agreement because of a car and it is going to affect our tariffs. Light, yensio, senya, yabetun abonum every 3 months. Video about 2023. In fact, there's more evidence to prove say the NDC came to inherit this quarterly increment from the MPP, a agreement almost signing here with IMF. Now let me show you. When you go back into a timer, you see this. 2023, data show 19th of May 2023. Then Atta force kaye okokano asempa. Or say Akufo-Addo government has agreed to increase utility tariffs every 3 months. Minority leader. So time na end this opposition. Atta force bekano the same asempa obi to catch the Ghana for say in Kofon IMF no bokono busumi bia no ye ba beto kaniem busumi miense bia beto kaniem na obi to oman komna sante to they all listen to Atta force, they listen to the crossroads, they listen to all the press conferences. Obi is aware. Asempa, most Ghanaian journalists they are aware of these facts. They know. Inti Atta force in the NDC for the Dinkan catch them say it is in the agreement because in Conformity no, there is no way that agreement any IMF all the way to 2037 no, we are going to pay electricity tariffs increment every 3 months till 2027. A MPP for deal. That is the only way they could get a deal with IMF because agreement IMF almost 3 billion no. Now, all these platforms in Ghana, news outlets, they know the story. Now, this is TV3 News. Utility tariffs to increase every 3 months as part of IMF deal. Atta forcing date Ben Show May 18th, 2023. May 18th, not end this in our power. No. May 18th, 2023. Na party ben our power. Na MPP na our power. Atta force ni NDC for catch them. Say en conform agreement no mo koye no. Ebe me tua light bill be kosoro sa for the next 4 years. Ye betua every 3 months ye beto kaniem because omo de ti ko share agreement ase. Bawomia Akufo Addo, Ofori Atta, omo de eti kɔhye IMF ase, moma yenye careful. Na yen kan kyerɛ so munjai. They did not listen. Now, after TV3, omo ankasa cocaine eye class FM. Omo so recorded a report this story no. 3 billion IMF bailout. Utility tariffs will go up every quarter. Brace up for biting consequences. Minority. Date Ben show 18th of May 2023. Now NDC no power. Now MPP no power. The NDC were cautioning Ghanaians. Say, yeah, be win power. Or some say IMF deal na Akufo Addo ba omia any Ofori Atta makwaji ato no. Omo de eti akɔhye agreement bi ase a every 3 months bia no ye betua electricity bill ebe kosoro. Eno na ye hu ni nne no. Now, when you move forward, another news outlet, where a cocaine media, Joy News, IMF deal, Ofori Atta nkasa sama obi na no kan date show 14th of April 2023. Again, Ofori Atta kan Ofori Atta say electricity tariff hikes, tax reforms, key conditions in securing program. Tie PZ for muntie brofo no. Ofori Atta time na ode ko IMF no. Okoye meeting we de obeka che en say electricity tariffs ese kanea ye betutum any edian tax a ye de be pay Ghana for so no e ya de a ye ntumi mpa ho ansa na sign agreement no o si ansa na IMF bechi ye IMF agreement na tum no e kire ye gitum say ye beton kanea mu ye de taxes be pay mo so. That is what Ofori Atta no ye finance minister e ka kire Ghana for inta ye den and ended 2025. Eye obitumi sorry betna TV so ka say President Akufo ko IMF. Eye de Mahama ko IMF. Akufo Addo ko IMF. Adenti na ende ya to kaniem amode hye eye MPP. This is the result. Ofori Atta kra ka kire mo say without the 3 months increment in tariffs, the IMF were not going to give us the 3 billion. Or say without us admitting say ye did more taxes be pay Ghana for so no as NPP government no the IMF were not going to sign any deal with us. But if these guys had gone to the IMF early on, na NDC kachoma anka you could have avoided the electricity a quarterly increment of utility tariffs. But now let's go into the books and see say IMF ni Ghana for tnas no there are documents to prove say IMF any Ghana for etna see meeting no omoji to me say PURC for enfanshem say e was 3 months bia no ye to kanea mu ana. Is there document? Are there facts? Are there evidence to prove say and the kanea yatum 14% to say the anko for yede no e NPP for the dia bedru ha mamomfa obia mbehye NDC aban mema obia mfa bibia mbehye NDC John Mahama aban eye MPP nkwasiafo we na NDC etu omofo say agreement na omudi obuti ko hyem no omon kontem na oman kontem a ye de light ne yensuo nyina beka ho. They ignored the NDC. In fact, they insulted the NDC. They were making fun of the NDC. They were laughing. They were telling us say NDC for nimunyansa. This is where we are. So we need to deal with it. Now let's go into the wagon. Now yanko share the evidence that explicitly shows us say increment in this 3 months tariff year increasing no NDC the buy and I say na eka MPP for agreement omone dey omone IMF sign here. Let's go into the documents. Now look at this. Already the 2024 first quarter Ghana Gas, Electricity and Water Tariff Decision, Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC for Omo 2024 quarterly data and our report. And na yebekan efrim 2024 na John Mahama nye president. 2024 na NPP and our power. So don't get it twisted. So we say our other fact change say Uncle Fambra where PURC for Omankasa report a Public Utilities Regulatory Commission Omo reporter 2024 Omo Troya details ni nyina wo ho. Let's not get this wrong. Because Omo catcher say they needed e-levy. Omo catcher say so Omo pass e-levy na some problems we nyina no esubetwa That's what they told us. Murefi, Mamu Refi. Now let's go into the deal. Now, so read the document now. This is what you see in the 2024 PURC4 report, first quarter. Now, so go inside the reporter. Mami Elajino, send a you can follow. We don't want to hide anything. Now you see this document. Mami show table way. What table no? You see analysis 2.2. You will see 2.2.1 underpinning data. You will see findings, results from analysis and data. Now, you're starting free esrono, especially baby table 1, summary of data used in analysis of 2024 first quarter electricity tariffs. Almost show 2024 first 3 months no electricity no senior almost charge ye. I don't want to confuse a lot of you. We a PURC for ankasa almost report. It is all checking data now. Now check it Omankasa report now. You can go out there and read for yourself. This is what is in the report. So we'll check it the summary of data used in analysis of 2024 first quarter electricity tariffs. Oba asiona ubehu A1 no ubehu hydro. And A2 no ubehu thermal. Now A1 no usha uko quarter 4 2023 parameters assumptions effective December 1st 2023. In the same report way December 1st 2023 almost first quarter almost fourth quarter 2023 no. That means the first the fourth quarter of 2023 no report no PURC for results in any. Now uko asewa hydro. Now, 31.91. And we have fourth quarter 2023. That is, a fourth quarter. Last 3 months of 2023. Now, we have first 3 months of 2024. In turn, say, last 3 months of 2023, no, almost to electricity tariff, almost to hydro, 31.91%. And on the 2024 first quarter, the first 3 months of 2024, no, and also no esa 34.81%. Now, Uba thermal. Uba will say fourth quarter 2023, the last 3 months of 2023, no. Uba will say at the thermal no cost 68.89. And now over the first quarter of 2024, which is the first 3 months, January, February, March of 2024, no, a move called 65.19. In the increment, no, it was not any increment, a year low. It has been there. They have been increasing electricity, they have been increasing fuel, they have been increasing hydro, thermal, exchange rate, no. Who check exchange rate now? As back as fourth quarter of 2023, that is the last quarter of 2023, last 3 months of 2023, no. Now dollar near 11.92. Over the last quarter of first quarter of 2024, January, February, March 2024. Now dollar no 12.134. Time and now free power. The last quarter of 2024, no. Now almost 15 and over. Now I want you to understand ejuma or my yato. Problems are omodi Ghana Koma, and they are trying to make it look like say President Akufo IMF, Mahama IMF, Akufo IMF, Mahama Nakofa problem we have. Sa problem we a problem NPP for eja to agreement omoko sign ya. They know that this agreement is going to cause a lot of problems. Okay? My mention idea. The reason why it's here not NPP or power, not every single day, omone PURC for issue in say. Every time we have a PURC for episode of the raw data, the physical or the realistic numbers are also here when it comes to light bill and water bill. No, what the NPP were doing in the say, they were always telling PURC say they should cut the prices down, and that the government was going to later make sure say they come and pay that debt. Until they were always telling them say they were going to make sure they subsidize. In today, beyond all the time, an MPP was no. Say PURC Ebertram reporter. There's always a back and forth with the government because the government didn't want PURC to give you the raw picture. So they were always covering up the raw numbers. This is the first time you are seeing the raw numbers from PURC because the NDC is not interested in covering up the raw numbers. The raw numbers are not based on the chiramono. Na MPP for any omoko. De biano PURC 4% omode utility tariffs. Omoshe na omo adjustia. Na de biano MPP for any omoko. It was because the finance minister and the government were always fighting PURC. You say they should not give Ghanaians the raw numbers, and that omonteso na abinable betuamo omo. And no na air pile ekano because we didn't have any fiscal space. We were locked up. The vacuum that was created was artificial. We did not have real space whereby na ekanim. They had piled the system to the point to say we were at the end of the day locked up in debt. But they created the impression for Ghanaians to think, say, oh, yeah, Akufo and to lighting. But in reality, PURC, they were harboring debts. They were concealing a data government was trying to hide from you. Now, yanko a documenting. This is PURC. Omankasa documenta. Omankasa documenta. Say the NPP government. Omani IMF tnase eji to muse. This 3 months, a quarterly increment of electricity, water, any other utilities, it is in the report. In fact, the IMF agreement, it is in there. And PURC, at the end of the day, captured that. The IMF report, it has also captured that. Now, let me show you the details, the facts in the report. Now, when you look at the report itself, this is what you see. Sorry. So we share a document we are mami enlarge no na me no one kinkan. This is a document the IMF document no enie. The PURC they have this document. This same document the IMF also they have it. Now let's read this document. IMF Monetary Fund page 16 Ghana. This is the IMF document. Now you read the IMF one kata tro e agreement. Now, GDP offsetting underlying upward pressures from a more depreciated exchange rate. Additional quarterly tariff adjustment will be implemented in 2023 to compensate for any exchange rate and price movement and to bring tariffs close to cost recovery level, while efforts to improve operational efficiency of energy distribution as planned in the ESRP and the renegotiation of contracts with IPPs are expected to further reduce costs. In the IMF 4 document na angasemuno, omuji to say from 2023 no, a increment in the quarterly utility tariffs it was going to go up in the sense say the reason why Tomlisha agreement is say ebetumi aboa ama sebio IPPs a Ghana di omoka no yetumi atua any contract bi a Ghana asensan a yentumi ntua ka no yebetumi nya sika bi di atua until they put this in agreement say na be ya omo IMF no omo ho nkyere omo. So they expected the Ghana government at the end of the day to make sure say every 3 months bi ano omo increase light bill, omo increase water bill. This is 2023. IMF any Ghana for buying a MPP buying EG2 say every 3 months biano yen to lighting. Now already 0.7 now. This is what it says. I say beyond 2023, the program's baseline projections conservatively assumes that the sector shortfall will be gradually reduced to reach 1.7% of GDP in 2026. Say ya toto aya kaniemu every 3 months. The ebesiri say by 2026 no aya Ghana eka edie no ana eka yede no esobeti so aya a percentage point of 1.7%, meaning say ya kwaso na say agreement a MPP sign ye no bosome miense bia ya to kaniemu na ya to nsuoma de ebeye ne say ebeboa ema eka na yede no ye ka eso ye no ye betumi enya sika ye betumi enya enough revenue to do what, to fight our debts. Now so ku anima or can be you see the IMF or staff urges the authorities to aim at a more rapid reduction in the sector shortfall under ESRP to create fiscal space for priority spending. This could be notably achieved through additional ad hoc tariff increases while protecting vulnerable households. Mami take it last part in Mountie. Or say, this could notably achieved through additional ad hoc tariff increases while protecting vulnerable households. Almost say, Ghana, a car, a soye, say you bet me a consacano, na you bet me to your IMF. Besia yakwaje na ye betime tua IPP sa omo boy ma yenka ne agina so a e was say at the end of the day no yenka ne no bosom miensa bia no agreement omo ne MPP ko ye ne say e was say bosom miensa bia ne ye to kane mu eno nko ane ade a e betumi aboa Ghana ama ye sika sam agina ne naso by 2026 ending. Inti when you read this document e was say the agreement na MPP Ofori Atta Bawumia and IMF ko sign ye no, they put us in a corner in an agreement. We will be increasing electricity tariffs, water, all these utility tariffs. No, every 3 months biano from 2022 ending to 2026. No, our sabosumi and Sebiano yatum. Now, sir, who read the document now? You read it. Show. We are showing you the evidence. And the kudientia MPP4 and Akufo problem we aba and quickly they are making it look like so many idea bia ho sa MPP we omunya party omuni nyansa mpeso mboa Ghana. Ghanaians, you need to understand say it's a political party omutwatro. They think say ye Jimmy, and you see they have gotten some media houses bia omo adada Ghana for Mr. S, Mr. P. All right, I will show this. I will show the source, the first page. All right. It's a moment kind 5.0 no. E ho na obehu asema omo kan ye ewo sa IMF document. Where IMF document me we am the page no be kire. Now akọ ankasa wakọ page no. Now what kind document no because we don't want to mislead anybody. Yani we don't believe in jandam. We believe in the facts. Now, already 5.0 IMF document now this is what they have written. Over 5.0 electricity and water tariff adjustment for first quarter 2024. In the document, you know, answer na MPP every power no. Omuji to say agreement, you know, 2024 first quarter no, first 3 months from 2024 no. I was say you increase the electricity tariffs every 3 months. And it's 2025 we know. Yeah, increase the electricity tariffs. And yeah, end this na kofa buy. Omo buy na agreement na da ho. A agreement MPP4 assign into a document where which is the PURC reporter Omankasa echo extract a free IMF report. This is what it says. Now the commission where PURC for report no this is the PURC report na make kind show no. We are the IMF report in the background. Or say, the commission will continue to implement the quarterly tariff review. TA PURC for a report on 2024. No, almost say they be at the red namakino. Read with me. Canada Japan best read my lips. Obi on tebro fi biasa no kasa. PURC for a report in 2024. Almost say the commission will continue to implement the quarterly tariff review mechanism per its rate setting guidelines for quarterly review of natural gas, electricity, and water tariffs. Monitor the operations of the utility service providers to ensure value for money and quality of service delivery. TA, or C, the commission will continue. So I report to a 2024 PURC report. Almost say the commission will continue to implement the quarterly tariff review mechanism per its rate setting guidelines for quarterly review of natural gas. So it means every quarter biano, every 3 months biano, omobe increase natural gas, omobeto gas, omobeto electricity, and omobeto insume water. We are not monitor. Now, furthermore, the commission encourages utility services providers to double their effort in revenue collection in order to address the financial difficulties which bedeviled utility services providers. Into the reason why IMF for Emma NPP aban ba Omia ne Ofori Atta ne Akufo Addo mo e de omutisha agreement we mu ne say no munim say ekwan we so nkwan ne ekwan a omu betumi ayeden omu betumi raise sika e de etua eka ye de IMF because IMF were asking Ofori Atta ba Omia mo say how are you going to pay your debt. And Ofori Atta de ba Omia say and ye e was said de bia no ye mia Ghanafoɔ na bosome miense bia ye to kaneam ye to gasim ye to nsuom se ne be ya eye ECG mo ye be boa amonitor omo through PURC na omo ye de omo tuma gigi eye light bill ni yie agigi water bill ni yie ameki sure say ye gas no ye ton ni yie na ye nyamfa so de tua ye ho ka. Inti IMF deal no mko sign here no agreement no clearly no omo ko catch IMF for say omo ma yentu insuo kanea ene se bio gas mu every 3 months yentu buonim se ne be betumi nyi siketua ye ho ka. This is PURC edian 2024 report. Now so uko peke IMF wankasa documenter, does it actually tell you clearly say Ghana for omo ne yetena ase no they actually came to that agreement to say your utilities, you know, I was said Bosumi miense bia na yatum. And this is a reporter ye trono under eye Akufo Addo Baumia Ofori Atta omo no mokotena IMF e tro e signing agreement we. Intani yato kanem yato nsuom na Bosumi miense bia yatum kosoro a enye NDC. Eye mo MPP no eye e car omo jato Ghana so e na NDC aban no air fighting. Now let me show you. This is the IMF report. Let me enlarge it. Where International Monetary Fund document we obia betuma kohwehwe akan. Now so what kind document now? Where IMF documents? These are legitimate documents. We are not hiding anything from you. Let me read the document with you. Osha date na eshesuna May 2023. Go on the IMF website, you will see it. Yeah, mamati asese and they are talking near my NDC. MPP Baumia Akufo Addo kede de Japan mo enom de etikosha agreement ase. And into a year to kanium. Now, when you read the document from IMF, where a legitimate IMF document, uhiako IMF website, you will find it. Mr. P, Mr. S, team. Do you have something for me? Okay, you want me to add this to it, right? Okay, Mr. S, I'll add this to the document. Me team this for document to be ensan kahu. Into a ready way we are message another document to be akahu. This is all coming from the IMF. Thank you, Mr. S. Now let's read this document. Request for an arrangement under the extended credit facility. That is the IMF agreement. Where May 2023. Press release, staff report, and statement by the executive director for Ghana. Now, when you read the document, this is what it says. In the context of the request for an arrangement under the extended credit facility, the following documents have been released and are included in this package. A press release, including statement by the chair of the executive board, staff report, a debt sustainability analysis, debt sustainability analysis, supplementary information, statement by the executive director of Ghana, IMF transparency policy. Now, let's go into the document. This is the document. Let's read it. Now, when you read the document, IMF, on website as well, that is where we read each IMF document and it can clearly say GDP offsetting underlining upward pressure from a more depreciated exchange rate. Additional quarterly tariff adjustment will be implemented in 2023. This is an IMF document. Agreement no moko sign here no. It is clearly stated in it to say tariff adjustment will be implemented in 2023 to compensate for any exchange rate and price movement and to bring tariff close to cost recovery level. When you read the IMF document, it is stated in there clearly. This is May 2023. May 2023, na MPP na power. Na Ofori Atta na signing agreement with the IMF. So it is clearly, it is in the IMF document to say it was implemented in 2023. Entire day and the Gideon Boakokotna Asempa. Now kache Ghana for say IMF and the Kanya Yatutumno Yemblemu John Mahama. Actually, wait, Jimmy. I am not speaking from my mind. I am speaking from IMF document. Ghana and IMF signing. Yeah. This is not my document. I did not make this document up. This was an agreement signed by NPP government and the IMF. And it has clearly been stated in there, say, the additional quarterly tariff adjustment will be implemented in 2023 to compensate for any exchange rates. It is not say, I had to say, Yashada. Yeah, Mr. S, I know. Mr. S, which one are you giving me? Yes. So when you, in fact, say, already document way, if you want to even go up, now already free surah, you will see something like this. Let me show you. So top one, let's read from the top. You understand what I mean. The Power Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, recently raised electricity tariffs by close to 30%. That is prior to action, bringing the cumulative increase since mid-2022 to 57% to help reduce the cost recovery gap and limit this year's shortfall to around 2.7% of GDP. It is a already documenting every topper. This document is the IMF report. In the IMF report, it says the Power Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, recently raised electricity tariffs by close to 30%, bringing the cumulative increase since mid-2022 to 57% to help reduce the cost recovery gap and limit this year's shortfall to around 2.7% of GDP. Meaning, they started increasing utility tariffs from 2022. They started increasing it even before they went to IMF to go and put Ghana in this agreement. So how can any NPP person sit on TV, and tell Ghana for say, NDC and Abeto Kanium way back in 2022, and I'm what started quarterly, what started to Kanium. But the reason why you are not seeing it is those were the kind of things they were doing. They were suppressing it. They were not telling you, but they were all in the documents. The NPP are diabolic. They are bad people. They know what they did in opposition. They collapsed your country. This document I'm showing you, go to a PURC report. It is there, 2024. Go to the IMF agreement. It is in there. I am not making this up. These are all facts. These documents I'm showing you, Nina are factual. We have not taken any word out. If you go on IMF website, what I am showing you is there. Inti then MPP for better TV. So Gideon Boakon. Now when you listen to Gideon Boakon again, tie the oka. Munte Gideon Boakon.
Minia John Jinapo is quoted to have said, say omuji levy free wa. Omobeto electricity mo to make up for the revenue shortfall. Yabusa say yakoya na say by if that is true. Okay.
Increase in tariff, no, I say IMF is demanding that.
It's not true. It cannot be true. IMF program say neba and I'm a
yes.
From 2009 to 2017, 8 years 9 days before you are by 7 years out of the 8 years, almost to electricity tariff. The only affair NDC anto electricity boom 2009 omodi kabaye no 7 out of 8 years almost electricity tariff.
Asempa FM.
President Akufo Addo ebe inherited IMF program under the NDC. Am no ND am chi ono also sign introduce IMF program in the 8 years or 2 different IMF programs. But 8 years now President Akufo Addo aban wo ho ni nyina no. Out of the 8 years, no, only 3 years, and MPP are buying to electricity boom Ghana. 2017, MPP and to electricity boom Ghana. 2018, yan to electricity boom Ghana. There was a reduction of 17.46%. 2019, and year 17.5%. 2020, Akufo Addo and to electricity boom Ghana. 2021, Akufo Addo and to electricity boom Ghana. 2022, Akufo Addo and to electricity boom Ghana. In fact, 2020 crowd were chair electricity. 2023 and what 2 electricity boom and last year or 6%. Na IMF program on 6%. It is a uba bemunne. Na be katre yen say Akufo Addo wo ho na IMF programs mienu na wo 8 years ni nyina no. Mfie miensa pe and odi to electricity boom. Mfie num wan to electricity boom. Wo buy no. IMF program na Akufo Addo wo ho na wan to electricity boom no. Preko pe wo say IMF so to electricity boom a. Na won kan no crunch Ghana for.
Way na no omulidi Ghana. Such a blatant liar. They don't deserve to be politicians. So the mistake we have been making over the years, and they say, so be and we say kura. Na so obetna homo moboa. They are dangerous. Obi nimsa akwane boa. What has President Kufuor's IMF agreement got to do with the Kufuor's IMF agreement? What has John Mahama's IMF agreement, John Mahama 1, 2015 IMF agreement, got to do with 2024, 2023 Kufuor IMF agreement? How do you correlate these two? It is a Kufuor IMF agreement. Now, increment of electricity tariff in does it mean say 2024 Kufuor, 2022 Kufuor IMF agreement? It cannot be in there. How do you call these guys economists? How do you entertain such people? Anytime I deem sometimes you keep some of the words because this is total disrespect to the Ghanaian. But I don't blame Gideon Boaku. I blame Obino Tiono because it was the same platform and Atta forced the court to say these people are going into an agreement that is going to force Ghanaians to increase electricity tariff every quarter. Obi knows, Obi Munyinanim, but you see, they sit with these people behind the scenes and they deliberately come out to lie to you. How can you compare a Kufuor IMF to Kufuor's IMF? How can you compare a John Mahama 2015 IMF deal to a Kufuor 2023 IMF deal? How do you do that? How do you expect all the agreements to be the same? In fact, Kufuor IMF no na Ghana GDP is saying. Mahama 2015 Eko IMF no na Ghana GDP is saying. Kufuor IMF no Baomiam GDP is saying. Kufuor IMF no na Ghana at that point no na Ghana dollar exchange rate net saying how much was Kufuor demanding or asking from the IMF? How much was John Mahama 2015 or IMF? How much was he asking? He was asking for just $900 million. Time Manamoko IMF no, what was our GDP? What was the exchange rate? How much were you demanding from the IMF? 3 billion. So you expect the agreement to be the same? I try to restrain myself. I swear to God. It is not my wish to insult people, but sometimes it's so tough. It is not my wish to tell somebody that they are stupid, to tell somebody that they are deliberately misinforming Ghanaians, disinforming Ghanaians because they think say that is my problem. It hurts me when I use such words against people. But when I look at them and the kind of disrespect they disrespect Ghanaians, the way they see say Jimmy, but they can just go on radio and it hurts me say we get Ghanaians sitting there hailing such people. Let me tell you, we don't get up in the morning to come sit here and say, where they were Jimmy, where you Kwasia. We don't sit in the morning to say we want to do that. It is when these people continuously, consistently, out of their inconsistency, try to disrespect the intelligence of Ghanaians and not forcing people like us to use the kind of words we use. This is straightforward insult to the intelligence of Ghanaians. Okay? And the IMF sat with the NDC government, right? This is what the IMF said.
The Minister noted that government has passed an amendment to the Procurement Act to ensure that all central government procurement contracts go through the Minister for Finance under the authority or Central Tender Review Committee.
With pragmatic and bold measures have been put in place to address the large payable buildup as at end 2024, which resulted in large primary deficit compared to the program modest surplus. These measures aimed at strengthening our spending commitment control system, eliminate the accumulation of payables, enhance budget credibility, and promote fiscal and debt sustainability. These measures include the following. 1. We have commissioned the Auditor General together with 2 international audit firms to audit the payable and commitment to validate their legitimacy and value and provide recommendations for collective actions.
On ECG and revenue collection, the Finance Minister noted that the implementation of the recently announced quarterly tariff adjustments by PURC was executed to satisfy the structural benchmark conditionality under the program. On his part, the IMF Mission Chief, Stefan Roudet, commended government for their quick recovery to get back on track with the IMF program objectives.
First, the external position has continued to improve with rapid accumulation of international reserves by the Bank of Ghana, and indeed the accumulation of reserves has clearly outperformed the program objectives. Economic growth in 2024 was also stronger than expected. However, overall performance with respect to the program's targets and objectives deteriorated significantly in 2024, reflecting policy slippages in the run-up to the general elections. Both the government's primary balance and inflation missed the targets. Several structural reforms have also been delayed, and some of the milestones in this area were missed. Fortunately, since then, the authorities have adopted bold corrective measures in several areas to ensure observance of the program objectives for 2025 and beyond.
IMF Country Director Nika Sandeno. Omni Ghana Tenase. So far. Aban we buy no omo se nyoma ejina ne naso. Bank of Ghana atoto nyoma ma eyomo wanwa sibia nyoma ejina ne naso no. Broni ni kasa no o say 2024 ya start say ya atoto nyoma na nyoma ejina so. Die esiye ewo 2024 ending ne say omo hu say before election 2024 no Ghana sikasem amanfo bi sa de omo nsa bomu. Broni na ende oti Ghana ene ato force de di nkomo no o say 2024 before elections no yenemuko agreement na amoka asem odito to nyoma no NPP ni yakọ agreement amoka say omo hihye nyoma yi a na ye hwe omo no eka abosomi baako mienu miensa me yakoto aba no Ghana sikasem esa seye but o say obo aban we abaso for the 3 months no meji sikasem no omo tumi ama Bank of Ghana gina ne na so omo tumi asa de Ghana sikasem ejina ne na so omo wu say omo tutu nyoma atofo sen kasa no o say wo say agreement we da ho de ye ko a ye betumi akoma na afri ho ne say eye enkwahya MPP de ye ko hye mu eye ye tariffs a eye bosomi miensa bia e wo say ye tum no NDC aban e bo mo homodin bia say omo we pe kwan bi so na omo yi Ghana tire free ase nkakra ene na ema broni ni kasa no o say eye IMF program na ye ne mo koye no na ye dwen se peke eye se pekia me yekoto aba no eho na MPP aban e de omo nsa bom sikemu into before elections no MPP aban ba omia Akufo Addo Bamti Gabi mu bedi etuom no omo sa wia musika no ema musika sam sa seye na eye ye wanwa se ende ye no mo kasei bosom miensa pepepe mo NDC for etuama Ghana musika sem gina ne naso but sankofo we ochina no pa omba we ka kire say NDC aban na ede light bill kosro Ghana ni bia obetie MPP na wo problem wo wadwene mu Ghana ni bia obesori anopa se me wo MPP na me wo MPP ye pese MPP ba power na sebio bibi kakra how we should not give the NPP any opportunity. And then me say, eye guta, almost so akasa, almost say, eye surprises aye dia to eye dia, eye kania insure increment in eye these tariffs no. Guta for say, was say Ghana yetna sene ya hwehwensemu. Because omo woni say nipa bi ene di abro, especially uba ECG. Sika omuwiaye and the guta. The Ghana Union of Traders Association has opposed the recent increase in utility tariffs approved by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Almost say increment na no ding. na mmom no ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo ka kyerɛ aban sɛ aban ɛntwa n'ani nkɔhwɛ ɔmo a na ɔmo hwɛ yɛn kanea so ɔmo hwɛ ECG so na ɔmo nyɛ nhwehwɛmu na ɔmo a ɔmabɔ korɔ no yɛnkyi ɔmo ntum ɛfiri sɛ gutafoɔ no hu sɛ problem a yɛkɔ mu ndɛ no ɛnyɛ NDC aban na de baayɛ Ghana Union of Traders na hu sɛ ɛyɛ aban a na ɛwɔ hɔ sɛnea ɔmo manage yɛ electricity yie sɛnea ɔmo manage ECG yie sɛnea yɛ sikasɛm ɔmo toto pansam yɛ ɔmo gyegye sika wɔ ECG a na ɔmo di afenyo makin Idrisu Anodomprɛ Keligajepo ɛyɛ Dubik Mahama Napo as energy minister Guta say aban we ntwa nanim kohwe akyire accountability probity is important because Guta for them say bra ye bra nende no because of MPP for mismanagement of our energy sector sika omudi inti sa aban we ntuma ntwe omaso a na ye na wo se blame aban we inti Guta for kra kasa ye no eye IMF for panyini ne ka se ampa ofwa Gutafoɔ no so efiri sɛ ɔmo ne Ghana ɛyɛ adwuma ɔmo bra yɛ brand na ɛyɛ de MPP aban sɛnea ɔmo ntumi antoto yɛ electricity company yɛ sika sɛm yie sɛnea ɔmo wia yɛ light poles afenyo akemo Anodomprɛ mo MPP for ko gu ECG ɔmo wia containers no ɛnɛ broni a ofiri IMF krampo ɛfoa Gutafoɔ so monkotie asɛm a broni ne kae
Regulatory Commission to increase tariffs for water and electricity, insisting it is needed to improve the fiscal situation. More in this report.
2-week assessment of Ghana's program. The IMF said fiscal slippages in the run-up to the 2024 elections led to large accumulation of payables and also reforms which were also being delayed. But the IMF, in this particular joint meeting, indicated that the new authorities have taken bold steps to address some of these slippages, which include a hike of electricity and also water tariff.
As the government adjusts utility prices between on the one side, the importance of those adjustments to strengthen the SOEs in the sector and make sure that public finances as overall are sustainable, and on the other side, the implication that it has, especially for the most vulnerable. And I think when we discuss with the authorities, we very much focus on these two aspects. So think about the electricity price increase that PORC has announced recently. On one side, it is very necessary to strengthen the position of ECG so that ECG in turn is able to pay its bills to the power producers, and that in turn you as Ghanaians continue to have access to electricity on a continuous basis.
Now, what is man Bruni Kano? Or say the course ni nyina no I was here tia say ECG and a cover problem by omo di ECG nim omo na omo yeden omo na ECG show monsa den afenyo marking den omo yedi ECG show monsa Dubik Mahama Mamencho Anodomprɛ. These are the people na omo ka kire mo say we need to make sure IMF one my advice almost support Guta. ECG mismanagement. Post young and the Kennedy to me General Bedroom. No, I catch a Ghana for say our post good warehouse, our meters good warehouse. After your marking, Anodomprɛ. These people were the unim say Fremont Parry, not Fremont Parry Baba, not order ECG board so unimza. The chief of staff, the daughter of the chief of staff, Fremont Parry, not ne Baba. Fremont Parry's daughter was on the ECG board. Apart from us having these people on the board, apart from the NPP minority piglets, frontliners, yedi to ECG board. Do you know, say, Fremont Parry or NPP chief of staff, Akufo the chief of staff for 8 years. Do you know, say, na Fremont opare ne baba, and so that ECG board. So do you know? Yeah. Fremont Parry's daughter was on the ECG board. These people were all on the ECG board. Into the damage they did, omo no makofa problem we aba. And it's the IMF for say accountability is important. Fremo Opare ne babani. Let me show you. You see, that is Fremo Opare's daughter. On the Jina Hono. On the share red, no. Fremo Opare ne babano no. She was on the board of ECG. 80 they deliberately stole from you people. These are criminals. Do not sit in Ghana and blame John Mahama. John Mahama ni this powder bang. Fremo Opare Baba was on the board of ECG. Also, these are people who stole from you. And they, as we speak, no, Oma Kotete. Now, watch this. Listen to this.
Regulatory Commission to increase tariffs for water and electricity, insisting it is needed to improve the fiscal situation. More in this report.
2-week assessment of Ghana's program. The IMF said fiscal slippages in the run-up to the 2024 elections led to large accumulation of payables and also reforms which were also being delayed. But the IMF, in this particular joint meeting, indicated that the new authorities have taken bold steps to address some of these slippages, which include a hike of electricity and also water tariff.
As the government adjusts utility prices between on the one side, the importance of those adjustments to strengthen the SOEs in the sector and make sure that public finances overall are sustainable, and on the other side, the implication that it has, especially for the most vulnerable. And I think when we discuss with the authorities, we very much focus on these two aspects. So think about the electricity price increase that PORC has announced recently. On one side, it is very necessary to strengthen the position of ECG so that ECG in turn is able to pay its bills to the power producers, and that in turn you as Ghanaians continue to have access to electricity.
ECG were not paying the IPPs. So we were making losses. And an IMF no catch them no. And who were the people handling ECG? These were the people in charge of ECG. These three people today leading MPP in parliament. They are the corporates. Containers and when parliament resumes, and say, Mr. Speaker, we don't agree. These are piglets. These are not people we have to take serious. Do not listen to MPP Jandamu. They don't have anything to say. They know some part negu. These are people you cannot trust. The chief of staff, Fremo Opare, Nebaba, was on the board of ECG. Mon friend Mbusan, Olo Jina Hono. Unim Sika Otama Nemame. She was quietly sitting there. Containers na irano. Sanko fu ejina tam de also tamko. Then you sit here and you tell me say, Mahama na abeto kaniem. They did it. And it's not quickly. They are all over the place. Mumblemu and DC. The MPP is not a party that you can trust. The NPP as a political party, you cannot trust them because they don't respect Ghanaians. Because I'm just a Ghana for nyansa. And only the frustration people like us, it pisses us off. They be a betanani kasana mujusi yani obi personal issue. Yani obi any personal problem. But you person Ghana for who no the NPP, they have nothing good for you. Ignore them. They are to forcing finance ministry, John Dramani Mahama, the NDC government will change things. They will correct the system. They will make sure that the next 42 years, Ghana, Ebenyan and Tuma Pefra, we will put Ghana on the right track. They will destroy whatever we are building now. So let's not listen to these people. Let's not give NPP any room. It is Jandam. You're too light munne. The next 3 months, you're too. You better can near moi copy 2027 January. Yes. And Ghana for you to be we cannot do anything about it because that is the agreement we signed with IMF under Akufo Baumia Kenoforiata. That is the agreement. There's nothing the NDC government can do. We cannot do anything. From now to January 2027, You have to brace yourself for the work NPP did, the danger they put us in, the horrible contract they made us sign, the agreement they knew was going to affect we, the ordinary citizens. And they what to Bantama, and they what to Tafu, and they what to House Interesto, what to Asafu, what to Ghana have baby, and to Kanyuma, a Ofori Tani NPP, no, Omononko sign this agreement, no. The John Mahama NDC administration, they have done nothing wrong. Don't let these people lie to you. They deliberately did this. They destroyed your energy sector. They made sure say Oma ran them down and almost signed a contract. Today they are sitting on the fringes, they are sitting on the walls, and they are telling you say, and this is what more doing. The light bill from Ende. You started to Kanyemu from 2022. They were lying to you. They didn't show you. John Mahama, they don't have any reason to lie to you. That is why you are seeing the raw figures. And we all have to work hard to fight this. John Mahama cannot fight this alone. Atto cannot do this alone. The NDC as a political party, they can't do it. It is you and I. It is out to Swami. Sawoti, aya asafuna o cold store. Now Virginia will say, oh, yeah, campaign it here, John Mahama. Oh, per se MPP no, and this ninja ya. Wuna obebre, if we say, and the increment by 180 ya. So we are supposed to put that basic tribal political sentiments on the side. Let us look at the minutest issues. The issue that has brought us here. NPP as a political party, I have taken my time to explain baby Akufo edi abedura chrew. So almost say more document be a counter document say me ekobedu me boa. They should use their platforms to bring those documents. They will never talk about these things because they don't have the mental capability to do this. They don't have the genuineness of heart to do this. This is what we were built to do. And the reason why we love to do this is because me pese Ghana for etino krenase. Ghana for a protect your way. Ghana for who say yede no krena chichire mine. So yen nyina bete saade na sia. Nobody can lie to us. No single Ghanaian can lie to Ghanaians. Anytime last minute chira will say, so we share a car in Kofowe a boy ECG. Last minute table ne chira. Say me boa join news for so boa. Also the table we chira. Me catch you say time a MPP what power. Share a car ECG a boy. Sa table we. Me sa di chira biom. You see ECG's from profitability 2012 to 2023. Over 2012. ECG number de cut $136 million. Over 2013, $246 million. A car na day as Ghanaian, sorry. ECG. And the Mahama, 136 million, and a jump call, 246 million. 2014, and a Etiba, 38 million. John Mahama to be fighting Kano from 246 million to 38 million. 2015, a circle top. A circle 291 million. The year 2016, and a Kano John Mahama a breaking even. Na Ghana ECG Ndeka. Time John Mahama a free power in 2016. A handy over in 2017 January. Na ECG make a profit of 209 million. Na ECG Ndeka. In Ghana cities, sorry, not in dollars. In Ghana cities, no. Time John Mahama a free power in 2016, no. Na ECG, na Yandeka, near making a profit of 209 million. At least, now we had broken even. Na ECG, from 2012 John Mahama better na ECG edeka 136 million cedis. 2013, na ECG edeka 246 million cedis. 2014, John Mahama take also be do 38 million cedis. And a sad jump court 91 million cedis. Doom so hit ye. Time na John Mahama a free power in 2016. Na ECG and Deka. Na John Mahama NDC almost break even. John Mahama make a profit of 209 million Ghana. And Odani ECG Edema Akufo. John Mahama a free power na ECG Deka. And in 2016. Now Akufo mobile power 2017. January 7th. ECG ka e jump from abiane yawo sikada ho 209 million no. Ya bede ka 497 million 2017. 2017 and the MPP ya bede ka 497 million 2017 kwa. Ya ba 2018 a kind of jump called 2.2 billion. This is under MPP. Na Fremo Parema, na Dubikma, na Sankofo we go. 2018, a jump called 2.2 billion. 2019, and a tiba 1.46 billion cedis. 2020 election, Yemboka, Sesiano, Yenyamfaso of 410 million. Good job, Anameboa. 2020, Sikare Nyanweng, Satan na COVID aheti, IMF maiska, World Bank maiska, donors maiska, into sa sikana ananka osi edi sustain no, almost ECG mboka. And no number free water no. Do you remember? Aha. And no be mo. Now your re-election 2020 and about 2021, and the Canada back to 1.4 billion. And then a jump free, breaking even of 410 million. Quickly in less than a year, we were now owing 1.45 billion because in 2020 they were lying to you about the figure they showed you. And about 2022, afena ye kanajin sem from 1.4 billion 2022 under MPP, under NPP na ECG deka 8 billion. 8 billion. 2023, a year to election 2024. Na ECG kano move wako 10 billion. Omuja power ma John Mahama in 2025. Na ECG deka 60 billion. Between 2024, between 2023 and 2025 January, na ECG deka 60 billion. You think it's a joke? You think this is a joke? This is not a joke. This is a fact. These are the realities. Do not underestimate the MPP. So many opportunity to break this country down. Civil war, BC. From 2022 to 2024, ECG the 60 billion. Into sa election year, no, almost the 40 to 50 billion cedis na car ECG count. In our way, containers na ira na be ECG car, cables na ira na be ECG car, poles na ira na be ECG car. After your market mutna board so sign a contract ma omo. Sa companies no more be clear container goods area free airport no e be ECG car. These people deliberately destroyed this nation. Do not underestimate the MPP. And don't forget, PDS is over $500 million. PDS, when you are PDS, I'll come back with PDS. It is all got to say MPP ni biti TV so chana. Now I can say, I Monsha the NDC for their bar. Mon can say, hey, for Jimmy Corner Yantichiri mine. They cannot help anybody in Ghana. That party called the NPP a dangerous political group. This group of people leading the NPP, these are the downfall. When we need the ECG downfall. Light posts, when we need street lights, you know, containers, these are the people. They were on the board. PDS $500 million. Unim say ever seen the Yenya accounts. You know that. The government is looking into it. You think it's a joke? Let's not underestimate NPP. JJ Rollins Kachamo, the NPP is dangerous. And JJ Rollins Kachamo say, do not underestimate the NPP. They can kill their own and laugh. What about you? Now put me in stage these are blood-sucking dangerous people. So do not underestimate the MPP. Don't take them serious because they are a group of dangerous politicians.
The NPP cannot be underestimated. You know it, I know it. They've been in existence for a long time and have been changing their names up till this day. The nature of who they are. Listen. Munjie, the nature of who they are, what they are, where they've come from, is something they are happy with, and they will be there for a long time. Let's not mimic their behavior. Let us reach into the principles and the values that emerged out of the circumstances that gave birth to us. And if we can hold onto those principles and those values, we will move way into the future and no one can ever defeat us. We will ride and override any obstacle as we did in the past.
These are the things they don't want to hear. Collectively, we need to come together, put the political affiliation aside, and listen to what J.J. Rawlings was saying. The NPP can never be underestimated. You know it, and me, Kwamiti, I know it. They are dangerous. They are reorganizing. When 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 liars come together, they are like pythons. Se konkonsa fo ne atrofo be enum hia, omo te se cobra. And right now they are wounded. A lot of cobra, they are gathering a lot of venom. And the venom of jandam, the venom of lies. Afei na omo krono ene omo dien atrono, afei na ebe gine. This is the time they are going to pretend and act. This is the time they are going to show you, say, they are not the evil you think they are. They are dangerous people. Do not underestimate the NPP. Oh, how quickly they came to say they know nothing about the increment in tariffs, no. The same way. And they all say, Obeko Kantamanto, yes, a content creator, Kasongo 99, Afinyo, Wakoji Mike, or Tonya Minyum. They think, say, Yeda 1999 space in him. Omujin say, Ombe to me day, Mobro, Jay, Sankwasi, Anyumana, Akufo, Modiba, power, no. They still don't understand the modern day politics. They are still enshrined in their primitive tendencies, making them believe, say, Obiye Jimmy, but they are the wisest people. These are dangerous people. They don't respect the intelligence of Ghanaians. Intianano, say, Kasongo 99, onam jom no akwaje Michael Kantamanto. Yento nyamenyom. Oto nyamenyoma enchesa wo nyakromfo. It does not take that thing away from you. It does not take that incompetence away from you. It does not take that corruption tag from you. It does not take the disrespect to the rule of law from you. It does not take that family and friends in the pot. It does not take from you. It does not take that tribal tendencies from you. You are still who you are. It does not matter what you do. Into the NPP, they think you're Jimmy. They are still doing the Patricia PJ politics. That agama lizard called Diana Samoa kind of politics. These are dangerous. They are like leopards. They are like vultures. We're dangerous. That's all I can tell you. I don't underestimate them because MPP for Obo careless. How I don't underestimate them. NDC, NPP for me echo. I don't underestimate MPP. I am always on alert when it comes to MPP. They kill their own. They still laugh about it. They don't care. So do not underestimate. Simple. They don't talk about it. They laugh about it at parties. So do not underestimate the MPP. It is not a political party. It's a collection and cluster of criminals, murderers, thieves, people who don't have feelings. They don't have empathy and sympathy. These are people who only are involved in power struggle. This MPP leadership and the people in this MPP is about self-enrichment. It is about suppressing people. These are pure 100% scavengers. DNA is 100% pure. They will eat you alive and laugh at your funeral. They don't care. Do not underestimate them. Men can say, Jimmy. They know what they are doing. And it's in the Kasongo 99. Onim se MPP base na saying. Let's get serious, my people. I am here to tell you the truth. I keep telling Ghanaians, I have nothing against the NPP as a political party, but I will not allow the NPP to rule again. I will never allow it. Personally, me any problem with them, but they are not fit to govern. They are fit to deal with chieftaincy issues. I've analyzed the party. I've looked at the way they think. I've analyzed the way they do things. I know they are fit to be a chieftaincy party. They are good in chieftaincy issues. They are good in tribal issues. I'll give it to them 100%. They should take it. But when it comes to governance, no. They are not ready and ripe and sincere enough to govern a nation. They are sincere enough to their tribe. They are sincere enough to be hailing chiefs. They are sincere enough to be chief makers or king makers. I get it as chieftaincy party. But when it comes to governance, the NPP should not come close to governance again. And intina, share the two parties are yet tobacco himfie and yet tobacco in public space. The atina himfie na etna himfie. Yente party wa himfie mani medi Ghana, so it does not work like that. The motivated party no, baby a better party no, baby omujinate party no, it tells you a lot about the party. And it's not Kwame Nkrumah declare independence no, Ojina Independence Square. And come to me Jinane them, but there's a reason why he was at Independence Square. In this big Jina Himfie party, the purpose for the party is to protect Ahimfie, not for the benefit of the nation. Into the two parties have different ideologies, vision, and reasons why they want to govern. And I've analyzed the two parties, and I know, sir, the NPP is built to be a chieftaincy or a palace party. They cannot be a party for the people. Foundation, building a party, where you build, how it stand, how it started, it tells a lot about the party and where they want to get to.